Fast food in Canada was built on a simple promise: affordable meals, predictable prices, and convenience that fit everyday life. For decades, that promise held strong, even during economic slowdowns. But in 2026, the foundation of Canada's fast food industry is quietly cracking. Across the country, familiar chains are closing locations, scaling back expansion, or leaving certain markets altogether. Not suddenly and not with dramatic announcements, but slowly and deliberately. This isn't just about burgers and fries. It's a warning sign of deeper economic pressure hitting everyday Canadians. Rising prices, shrinking portions, and thinning margins are exposing how fragile the fast food business model has become in a high-cost economy. By understanding which chains are disappearing and why, we get a clear picture of where Canada's consumer economy is heading. Boston Pizza still appears stable from the outside, with large menus, family seating, and sports screens that attract regular crowds. But behind the scenes, the cost of operating large casual dining restaurants has become unforgiving. Food inflation hit key ingredients like cheese, meat, wheat, and cooking oil hard over the past few years, while menu price increases could only go so far before pushing families away. Labor costs climbed as wages rose and staffing shortages persisted, while energy bills, especially during long Canadian winters, became increasingly expensive for large dining spaces. Commercial rents continued to rise even as customer traffic became less predictable. Boston Pizza still works as a destination for many, but profitability has narrowed significantly, leading to quiet closures in smaller cities and suburban locations, where margins no longer make sense. Subway's story is one of oversaturation meeting rising costs. At its peak, Subway was everywhere in Canada, from downtown cores to gas stations and small towns. Today, that footprint is shrinking. The issue isn't demand for sandwiches, but the loss of affordability. Foot-long prices that once defined value now sit far higher, while household incomes have not kept pace. Franchise owners face rising rent, higher wages, and mandatory renovations that can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Financing those upgrades has become far more expensive as interest rates climbed. With flat or declining sales per location, even one slow winter can be enough to push a store into closure. Subway isn't collapsing all at once, but its presence is steadily thinning. Pizza Hut once built its brand around dine-in experiences, family nights, and large restaurants. That model struggles in today's economy. Large footprints mean higher rent, higher heating costs, and greater staffing needs. At the same time, ingredient prices for cheese, flour, and oil surged, while third-party delivery platforms took a significant share of each order. Menu prices rose, but customer tolerance reached its limit as grocery store alternatives and local pizza shops offered better value. Many Pizza Hut locations are now downsizing into takeout-focused formats, signaling that the traditional dining room model no longer works at scale in Canada. KFC remains one of the most recognizable names in fast food, but the economics of fried chicken have become far less forgiving. Chicken prices and cooking oil costs surged after 2020 and never fully returned to previous levels. Labor costs increased as wages rose, while staffing shortages forced some locations to reduce hours. Fixed expenses like rent and utilities continued regardless of sales volume. For customers, meals that once felt affordable now feel like an occasional treat. That shift in behavior matters. Lower visit frequency reduces volume, and volume is critical to fast food profitability. As a result, expansion has slowed and underperforming locations are quietly disappearing. Harvey's faces a different challenge. Positioned between value chains and premium brands, it struggles to stand out in a tightening economy. Beef prices climb sharply, hitting burger-focused menus particularly hard. Labor, packaging, and transport costs followed the same upward trend. Many locations depend on malls and plazas where foot traffic has become inconsistent, especially during long winters. When rents rise but sales stay flat, franchise operators are left with little room to absorb shocks. Harvey's still has loyal customers, but loyalty alone no longer guarantees stability. A&W is often seen as one of Canada's better-run fast food chains, with strong branding and higher quality ingredients, and while it has performed better than many competitors, it is not immune to economic pressure. Its positioning above traditional value chains means higher prices at a time when household budgets are under strain. Ingredient costs for hormone-free beef beef, dairy, and packaging have risen sharply, while wages and energy expenses continue to climb. Expansion has slowed as new locations require higher investment and longer payback periods. A&W is not shrinking rapidly, but its growth has cooled in an environment where value now outweighs brand trust. Dairy Queen's vulnerability lies in seasonality. In many parts of Canada, peak sales are concentrated in a few warm months, while the rest of the year brings sharply lower traffic. Fixed costs like rent, utilities, and loan payments remain constant year-round. Rising dairy prices, electricity costs for refrigeration, and higher wages have made off-season losses harder to absorb. Some locations shorten hours or delay renovations, while others close quietly after weak seasons. In a country dominated by long winters, businesses built around summer demand face increasing risk. Taco Bell's smaller footprint in Canada makes it especially sensitive to economic swings. Prices have risen sharply, pushing meals once considered cheap into uncomfortable territory for students and younger workers. Many locations rely on late-night traffic, where staffing shortages are most severe. Food costs have increased, but Taco Bell's simplified menu leaves little room to adjust without hurting its identity. With less margin for error, expansion has slowed and some locations are quietly disappearing from malls and city centers. Popeyes entered Canada with explosive growth, but rapid expansion becomes risky when costs turn volatile. Chicken prices and cooking oil costs surged and remained unstable, compressing margins even when stores stayed busy. Labor costs climbed, staffing shortages reduced throughput, and delivery commissions cut into profits. Prices rose, pushing meals into occasional purchase territory. Popeyes still draws demand, but expansion has slowed and weaker locations are being trimmed as the brand adjusts to a harsher operating environment. Wendy's has long positioned itself as a reliable middle ground, but rising costs are testing that consistency. Beef prices climbed significantly, wages increased, and technology investments added new expenses. Value deals became less compelling as prices crept upward. Winter weather reduces foot traffic and increases energy costs, especially in older locations. Wendy's remains stable, but maintaining that stability now requires constant adjustment in an economy where consumers are cutting back. Burger King's challenge centers on aging infrastructure and debt. Many locations require costly renovations to stay competitive, and higher interest rates have dramatically increased borrowing costs. Beef prices, wages, rent, and utilities have all risen, while customer tolerance for higher prices has limits. When traffic slows and debt payments rise, closures tend to cluster quietly, particularly in smaller markets where recovery is slower. McDonald's stands apart because it has always been the constant. Yet even McDonald's is feeling pressure in 2026. Menu prices have risen far faster than wage growth, changing how often lower-income households visit. Franchise operators face higher wages, rising rent, and mandatory investments in technology and renovations. Efficiency improvements help, but they require large upfront spending. When even the most resilient fast food brand in Canada feels strain, it reflects a broader shift in the cost of living and consumer behavior. Fast food chains are not disappearing overnight, but the industry is being reshaped. Fewer locations, higher prices, and tighter margins are becoming the new normal. These closures are not just about restaurants, they are signals of rising costs, shrinking disposable income, and an economy under pressure. And as 2026 unfolds, the question is no longer whether change is coming, but how deeply it will affect everyday life across Canada.